right, y'all. Got another one for you. Hope you're doing all right. If you aren't, it's all right. Things are gonna get better. Has no choice. That's what life's all about. Ups and downs, ebbs and flows. It's always the darkest before the dawn. But today's Yap session is going to be about how lying and gaslighting is at a pretty much an all-time high. I mean, it's always been part of societies that we have to kind of lie not only to everyone around us but also to ourselves to keep the status quo. But yeah, it's a lot more transparent now, a lot more transactional as well. And that's just kind of how the people who have the power, kind of maintain it by lying to people and having them lie to themselves to keep this whole thing going. And they don't want the truth tellers' voices to be heard, so they can continue this whole train. Which, like I was saying in a few of my earlier videos, like if I was them, I'll be no different. You know what I'm saying? I'll be doing and saying the same exact stuff, because why would you allow someone who on the surface and on a deeper level, have more than you, when you have to do all this kind of don't want to put labels on it, but you have to do things that you wouldn't want to do long term, or you wouldn't want to happen to you to someone else. That's not something that you want to do. You wouldn't want someone to lie to you, to deceive you, to stab you in the back, or to make you feel lesser than. But a lot of people have this better him than me type of attitude when it comes to stuff like this, to where they know that what they're doing isn't really all that ethical, and they don't want that to happen long term. They don't want that to happen to their loved ones, but they don't have enough empathy to think that the person that they're doing this to has loved ones, until it's too late. And then they fuck around, they find out. But yeah, deception is at an all-time high right now. People are just lying constantly, and I'm not here to demonize those people, and I'm not here to really make them seem like they're lesser than. Actually, every single day I'm empathizing with them more and more, because, like I said, man, if I was them, I'll be no different. I was very lucky and fortunate enough to grow up in a city, in a part of town that people kind of kept it real with you. You know what I'm saying? They kind of let you know how they felt about you. There wasn't a whole lot of peacocking, a lot of lies and deception. There was definitely drama. There was definitely, arguments and feuds, wars. That stuff was happening on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? We were pretty much always on the battlefield every single day. You always kind of knew what it was. At least I knew what it was at a very, very young age. My siblings let it be known. I feel for people who had siblings who were kind of like two-faced the entire time. My siblings let me know how they felt about me at a very young age, so that's why I kind of kept my distance. Them and a lot of other family members, and they let me know how they felt, which is a blessing. The ones who love me let me know that they love me. The ones who didn't, they definitely showed it. So it was I'm very grateful for that, to grow up in that environment, especially with how my brain is wired with autism. Now you kind of pick up on your environment and you kind of take on those traits. So me kind of living in the truth my entire life, I knew how it was, and I always seeked the truth. I didn't want to be lied to. That has created the man that I am today, where that's all I give out now is the truth. What you see is what you get with me. That's pretty much always what it's been. And it's not like something I've done artificially, or it's not something I can teach. I'm not gonna have a one-on-one real course or anything like that, or have these sessions, or have these coaching sessions or anything like that. You can't teach that. I'm not gonna lie to you and grift and get money from you and being like, oh, if you just do these 5 different things, or just wear this or say this, it's like, no, it's something that's you have to do when you're very young. You can definitely make some tangible improvements once you hit before you hit the age of 40, 45. But the first 5 years of your life are so important when it comes to who you become, and then even the rest of your adolescence kind of just rounds those edges out. That once you hit like 25, once your brain's fully developed, that's pretty much who you're going to be, and then you spend the next 15 years picking your direction, picking your perspective about what that person is going to do for the rest of their lives. So I ain't gonna bullshit you and tell you that you can be me, that you can't do this. But I can at least tell you that you shouldn't be anybody else other than yourself, because long term you're not gonna get to where you want to be or stay there long enough. You know what I'm saying? And you just see this with all these celebrities being exposed on a daily basis now, even though it's always been this way. You know, a lot of people were just the most powerful people in the world. You know, the people who we always looked up to and idolized. They all kind of faked it. You know, they were always lying and manipulating. And a lot of them, they aren't victims. You know, the people who were perpetrating are victims, and the people who were participating aren't really victims either. We're stuck, at least here in the United States, stuck in this victim mentality. You know, I was trapped in it too. We all are. And eventually, once you kind of get out of it, that's when all of your blessings start to come to you. You start to see the world for what it is, get that clarity. Once you stop this woe is me type mentality, you know, and really start to get out of your own way, in a sense. Because once you do that, then, you know, the sky's the limit, and you can actually get a whole lot of benefits of it. That's why so many people are complaining about, you know, dating and relationships and all that. It's like a lot of it's just up here. If you really get out of that mentality, you can have some semblance of companionship. It won't be that love that was told to us in movies and shows and all that. You know, that's for a very small subject of people. And even then, it isn't what it seems like on the surface. But you can have some type of success in relationships, in your career, friendships, everything. You can, if you just get out of your own way. Doesn't matter how you look when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's tiers to this. You're not going to be married, happily married, unless if you have some attractive qualities that we all know of, that we all don't want to say out loud. But even if you don't have those, you can still have some semblance of companionship with someone else, because we all have mirrors to ourselves. You know, if you're a dude who's a 4 out of 5, there's women who are 4 out of 5 who will definitely spend time with you, and vice versa. But anyway, we gotta really kind of collectively get to a understanding that most people are just liars. And we all lie. You know, we all definitely don't 100% tell the truth, but, you know, there's a difference between someone who lies and there's someone who are liars, who just constantly lie. And they were surrounded by liars, especially if they're autistic, have any type of neurodivergency or whatever, and they picked up on those patterns, and they seen that, oh, if I lied, I did this, then the third, I get this, I get this, I get this. But since they're so young, they don't get the nuance of, sure, they might have temporarily got what they wanted, but they don't see what happens in the background, where all of a sudden now they just created even a bigger problem, a bigger issue for themselves by lying. You know what I'm saying? If you take something from someone that isn't yours, you're going to have to pay for it. One way or another, you're going to have to pay for it. It's good to pay for it in the front end than in the back end, because then you don't actually have any control of that. And then that's when the whole victim mentality comes into the whole situation, to the equation. So make sure when you're taking something from someone, you have some semblance of, yeah, this is kind of something that is both wanted for everybody else. And that's kind of what's going on in the world. People are just kind of coercing people or manipulating people into doing things that they normally would not have if the other person would have been more honest and more upfront. And it's definitely caused a lot of chaos, and people are just kind of just putting on the front, putting on a face, putting on the mask that is just not long-term beneficial to them. You know, like I said, I've done that, especially when I was younger, because of a lot of it is probably for survival. You know, a lot of us have been in situations where, you know, we weren't safe, we didn't feel safe, and we had to do whatever we had to do to get out of that unsafe situation. So I would definitely empathize with that. But at some point, you got to figure out that, hey, this isn't actually good for me long term. This is actually going to put me in a lot of very precarious situations. And also, you keep putting on that performance, you're going to attract more people who like that performance. And then it's going to create this cycle that you can't break out of. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now in society, where a lot of people are putting themselves in situations that they won't try to find a way out of, and they can't. So they kind of have to cope unhealthily and kind of put themselves in these different escapism realities to kind of remove themselves to what they created. And they want to point the finger and blame everybody else before they point it at themselves, you know. My problem honestly was I kept blaming myself my entire life, and I kept looking at what I can do to improve as a person to keep myself from getting into these situations. And the second once I stopped doing that and be like, hey, I've already passed this, I've already took this class over and over and over again. Now I've given myself the permission to have anger for other people who've done this to me. That's when so much of the clarity and so much of the wisdom that you're seeing now was being able to be used, because I can't blame myself for everything. I can't act like everything I've done was my fault. You know, that's not how things work out. That's not how life is. You know, I'm not the only person here. I'm not the main character. I'm just a cog in the machine like everybody else. And other people have put obstacles in my way. Other people have, you know, done things to me that you know, are unethical and aren't good for long-term success. And I have to acknowledge that, and I have to be like, yeah, that did make me feel a certain type of way. That did bring out a lot of anger in me, and a lot of resentment. And that's okay, you know, as long as I don't hang on to it and allow those things for me to put that obstacle in my way. I can free myself and start to really be the person who I always thought I was, who I always knew I was. And that's been such a cathartic feeling, is just knowing that I am allowed to be angry at other people. Because the longest time I didn't feel like I was able to. And that was a lie that I told myself, that I'm not allowed to be mad because of how powerful I am, how powerful my voice is, how powerful my words are. That if I lash out at those people, then I'm hurting their feelings, but they're not even considering my own. You know what I'm saying? They're putting their feelings over mine, even though I'm younger, I'm less experienced, I'm less wise. They're still kind of beating up on me, and for their own benefit. Which, like I say, I'm not mad at them. If I was them, I'll be no different. But I'm really trying to hope people can empathize with me, even though I know I'm not the easiest guy to empathize with. But at least understand that, sure, you're doing what you have to do to survive, but what about me? Should I get that same empathy? Be like, hey, maybe he's doing what he needs to do to survive. Maybe I should give him some slack and some grace, because overall he seems to be doing pretty well. He seems to be doing all right. Maybe I should be taking a couple of pages out of his book. You know what I'm saying? He seems to be have a good head on his shoulders. But that takes empathy, and that takes the death of your own ego and your own pride. And so many people, that's the only thing that gets them up in the morning, is their ego and their prides. They don't have anything tangible to actually keep them to do great things, which is keeping them from doing great things. They're blinding themselves from their own success. They're keeping themselves from enjoying the fruits of their own labors by their own arrogance, and it's going to be their downfall. So, and trust me, I'm making sure of that a lot of these egotistical people are going to understand that there's consequences to everyone's actions. You know, a lot of people have been lying and being deceptive and being sneaky and conniving with my own life and life of other people's. And one thing I've learned about myself is that if someone wants to get a whole bunch of dirt on me, I'll just give them the shovel. I'm like, here you go, start digging. You'll find what you need. And they just keep digging and keep digging and keep digging and keep digging. And they keep getting deeper and deeper. And I'm watching them dig. And someone comes up to me like, hey, why are these, what are these guys digging? And I'm like, they're graves. You're not going to find what you want down there. You're going to find it right here. But they don't have the courage to ask what they're looking for. They know what they're looking for because they know what they want is down there. I'm hiding it somewhere. It's like, no, it's right here. But if they want to dig, I'll hand you the shovel. Like, here you go. Start digging. I'll make sure you'll find it. You know what I'm saying? They keep digging. Like, hey, is it down here? Like, yeah, it's down there. Keep digging. I believe in you. Just keep digging and keep digging. And that's I can't keep people from doing what they want to do. At the end of the day, I can just kind of help them on their way, on their journey. And that's kind of what a lot of people are doing, you know. That's what Trump did. You know, he dug his own grave and now he's cast a lie in it. Same thing with a lot of those guys in his cabinet. You know, a lot of those guys dug their own graves, and all you can do is just hand them a shovel. You know what I'm saying? I believe in the I don't know how new this is, but the whole let them theory. If someone wants to do something, you just kind of have to let them. You know, people want to lie, they want to cheat, they want to steal their way to the top. You kind of have to let them, not co-sign it or not do anything about it. But if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. At the end of the day, it's nothing that you can do. If you like the saying says, you can bring a horse to water, you can't make them drink it. So it's like, if they want to shoot themselves in the foot and they want to harm themselves, you kind of have to let them. You don't have to like it, you don't have to co-sign it, but you got to let them. You know, it's nothing that you can actually do because you're not them. At the end of the day, you can't project yourself onto them and be like, hey, that's actually a really bad idea. Yeah, it probably is a really bad idea. But they don't know that. They only know what they know. And you weren't there enough to teach them what they know. So all you can do is just lead by example and be like, all right, hopefully other people see what they're doing and they're taking notes and not doing what they've done. Because I empathize with those people. I really, really do. I will not lie to them or kind of lead them astray. I'll just let them do what they got to do. Be like, hey, and you know, like what you're looking for is actually like right in front of you, but they don't want to. Like I said, arrogance, ego, pride. They don't want to look at it that way. They want to be like, no, it's down here. Like, all right, here you go. It's nice knowing you, and I feel like I'm doing my part by sparing other people of those people's nonsense, because I'd rather them dig on me than dig on other people who will be a little bit more insecure about what they'll find. Because I'm not, you know, I'm not an open book, but I am a book. There's nothing about me that I'm too ashamed of or prideful to talk about. So all you gotta do is ask, and I'll definitely give you the information that you need. But since those people don't have a whole lot of courage, you know, liars can't exist when courage is there. You know, when you have courage to ask people what they want and what they want to do and how they want to be perceived, there's no reason to lie. So if you're a liar, that means you have a severe lack of courage and you can't really help those people. You can't really do a whole lot with them. So I know that gaslighting and lying and deception is at an all-time high. But that's because courage is at an all-time low. Unfortunately, people just don't have the courage to really be who they are and be happy about it. That's why so many people who are, you know, on the right hate so many people who are on the left, because the left, no matter how you feel about them, they have the courage to be themselves. You know what I'm saying? No matter how weird or how crazy it looks on the outside looking in, like they're living in their truth. It might not be the best short term, you know, they want to say all these policies aren't working and this isn't working, look at this city, look at that city, but long term they're just throwing a whole lot of things on the wall and seeing what sticks. And a lot of what they're doing is sticking. You know, I'm not on either side, because I don't want to plant a flag in one spot and to stay there for the rest of my life. Doesn't really seem advantageous or good long term. But I definitely admire what people on the left are doing, because there are a lot of things, but most of them, the majority of them who are truly on the left aren't liars. And I do admire that. You can't say the rest of the people on the left and people on the right. A lot of them have been faking it till they make it. You know, 80% of the people on this planet are just faking it until they make it. It's like, sure, you're going to make it, where you're going to make it isn't actually where you think you're making it. You're not actually going where you want to go, or going to become who you're actually going to become. You're stuck in your head, and who you are in your head isn't who you are in real life. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have to have people in real life validate who you are for that to be a reality. You know, and a lot of people, they just don't want to live in reality. They want to live in their own little echo chamber so they can be who they are in their head, which, you know, short term, beautiful, great thing. I'm glad you do it for yourself, but don't be upset when someone pops your little bubble and be like, hey, it's a real world out here. We can't be living in La La Land always being in this genjutsu, acting like this is kind of reality. Like it's not. This is some straight fuckery, unfortunately, my guy. But you know, that type of kindness is very rare. Some people might look at that as cruelty, but I see that as kindness to tell people the truth. And that's kind of what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life as an artist. You know, when I start making art, and my art is going to be very truthful. It's going to be very powerful. It's going to be very painful, extremely painful, but it's worth it. It's going to be worth it for everybody. And I know, because I want to be a truth teller and an artist, and all the art that I'm going to create is going to be very painful. I'm going to make a lot of enemies. Not a whole lot of people a whole lot of people are going to be who there's not going to be a whole lot of people who want to be close to me. But at the same time, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to admire what I've done and tell people good things about me and really kind of hold me in high regard, which is at the end of the day all I really want. You know what I'm saying? I just want people to see me for who I am and to see others for who they are, and just continue this, make this news cycle that's a little bit more healthier than this one that's built off of lies. And we're getting there. We got 5 more years of lies and deception, because this is like the final yell, the final cry for our parents and our grandparents of their lies and deceptions of how the economy should be ran, how the government should be ran, how our jobs and all these things should be ran. And we're like, I'm a millennial, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. We're not upholding these things for you anymore, because long term we're going to end up like y'all. We don't want to end up like y'all. We want to end up like ourselves. So we're definitely opting out, and I've opted out a long time ago, and I will never go back. You know, I'll rather lose everything I ever have, all my possessions, to have to keep my soul intact, so I can stay Dimitri and be who I am. And I encourage everybody else to do that. You know, do not allow the liars to con you into their nonsense. You know, whether it be, you know, real estate, stock market, corporate America, the government, the current 2-party government systems, how relationships are with marriage and children, and just there's a whole lot of lies and deception. There's a lot of truth to it, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But overall, we definitely need to re-examine everything we know about everything, because the science isn't settled on nothing. You know what I'm saying? We're learning new things about ourselves in our environment every single day, and so many people want to keep what they've known factual forever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's not how we work as human beings. We evolve every single day. We need to survive. That's the reason why we're at the top of the food chain, because we keep evolving, and other animals don't. But as animals ourselves, we need to constantly evolve, no matter what, to stay at tip-top shape, and to really continue doing what we want to do, and thriving while we do it. So yeah, it's very convenient for people just to lie and to con other people into believing what they want to believe, whether it be, like I said, in relationships, in jobs, and everything about reality. But in the truth is, like, we just need to be honest with ourselves and honest with everybody around us. And that's the only way that we're going to free ourselves of what this is and build something beautiful for the future. That's pretty much my whole goal, is to build a beautiful future for everybody around myself, for them, and for myself as well. You know, this can't stay forever. We can't live in this reality forever. It's just very temporary, like everything else. You know, ebbs and flows, ups and downs. You know, the new utopia we're going to create is going to last forever, but at least we're going to have the blueprint for something better for everyone. But we just have to kind of be honest with ourselves and try to find people who are willing to tell the truth. And that's why I always preach the black pill, because there's such a huge misconception of it, which is valid. A lot of people, the majority of people in the black pill are liars, and they don't want to tell the full truth. But at least I'll tell you the full truth, that there are markers that you can tell that people who are honest and truthful and people who are not honest and truthful. And I'll give you how I kind of make that determination for people who I can and can't trust. When it comes to men, especially here in the United States, it's hard for me to trust men who are under 5'8", who aren't conventionally attractive, and who aren't in shape. If you aren't at least two of those three, I can't really trust you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not something that I wanted to be a thing. It's just like I've seen with all the patterns, because of how my brain is wired, autism. I'm recognizing all the patterns of the people who have lied, who've cheated, who have been cruel and just been very, very miserable. They weren't two of those three things. They weren't that tall, they weren't that attractive, and they weren't that physically in shape. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to live in truth, you have to be at least two of those three. One of those three, two of those three things you can't really change too much. But at least the in shape thing, you should be able to change, you know, be somewhere between 10 to 15% body fat. You know, so that's a pretty decent range. 18 is kind of pushing it, you know, for the average dude. But if you're, you know, tall, dark, and handsome, 10 to 15% body fat is like living in your truth, because you're getting the most out of your body. You know what I'm saying? You're firing in all cylinders. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the best every single day. You know what I'm saying? Because life's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And every single day you have to be ready physically to run that marathon. You can't be resting and laid out and be like, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? You're all going to be tired. But if you are asked to go out there and continue that marathon, you got to be ready to do it. So if I see someone in a position of power who's not two of those three things, I'm like, you had to lie to get there. You had to. There's no way someone who has those two of those three things, or God forbid, three of those three things, they're more qualified to do what you're doing, just in general. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. Obviously, your height doesn't really matter, but it is difficult to keep your attractive appearance, because you can lose it with your diet, with your environment, what you put into your body. So it's easiest for you to people say looks fade. They only fade if you don't actually take care of yourself. You take care of yourself, your looks can carry you for the rest of your life. And yeah, same thing with your weight. That can also carry you for the rest of your life. You take care of yourself. If you actually are very, very mindful of what you put in your body, and you can just tell by looking at someone, especially by looking at their face. You know what I'm saying? If you see a whole bunch of positive things about someone's face, you can tell that person is qualified to just do great things. And that's part of the black pill that people don't want to talk about. Is that tall, dark, and handsome people are the most qualified people to talk about things, and they're the least likely to lie to you about what's going on in the world. I'm not just saying that because that's what I am. That's what I've always observed. That's why I am the way that I am, because I was surrounded by tall, dark, and handsome people. I was born by them. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole family. I wish I could put up a picture of my recent family reunion of my family members. That's who I am. There's a whole bunch of people in my family who look just like me, and they don't bullshit you. They really, really don't. They keep it a buck. They keep it for real, and that's the world I lived in, and I'm very grateful for that. But and I translate that to women as well. I don't really know a height thing, but you gotta be maybe like 5'6", 5'7". You gotta be in good shape. You gotta be good looking. You gotta be pretty. And if you have those three things, I can trust you. I can at least give you not give you, but I know long term I can probably trust you, because you've gone through so much in your life that was real. That was no bullshit. Because if you are tall, dark, and handsome, male or female, whatever, you get the real, you get the true feelings of people. You know what I'm saying? People can't really suppress how they feel about you. They'll put on a mask, but it's always going to slip a little bit every single day because of your presence and how just your aura makes them feel. You know what I'm saying? They're eventually they're going to really show their true colors. So when you hit two of those three things, at least from like a surface level, there's more nuance to it. And I'll make a like a very very long yap session about the black pill, so I can give people my perspective of what it is, how it is tied to reality, and how we all are a little black pilled, no matter how much you want to deny it. But yeah, that's kind of how I can tell truth tellers from other people. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to have all three of those things. Like I've seen other truth tellers who don't have those three things, but you gotta have two of them. You have to have two. If you don't have two, I do not believe you're a truth teller. I'm not saying you're a liar. You might be like right on the edge of being a liar, but you are because you have to, right? It's for your survival. It's not, you're not being cruel or malicious because you just think it's because you think it's funny, or you think that it's something that you can just do and just do this for laughs or whatever. It's for your survival. You know, you have to survive by doing those things. And I feel for you. I empathize with you, but I can't trust you. You know what I'm saying? How I will break bread with you, have a beer with you, I'll talk to you. I ain't gonna trust you. I can't. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can. For my long-term health, for my long-term being, for my safety, I can't trust you. I just can't. And most people can't. And that's why the dating is what it is. The relationships are what they are. That's why so many people gravitate towards me and not towards those other people who don't have those traits, because they know I'm not going to bullshit them, or I'm less likely to bullshit them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get out their true emotions. I'm going to get out their true feelings. They're really going to be able to be themselves around me because I'm myself, right? And if I'm myself with myself, I'm going to allow you to be yourself. And the older I got, the less judgmental I've gotten as well, to where I'm going to allow people to be themselves and not be super assholeish about it, for lack of a better word. But yeah, it was turning into a goddamn Marvel movie. But just trying to give people the validation about liars and gaslighters out here. Like, yes, it is happening, and the vast majority of people are going to lie no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm going through right now, the vast majority of people, they're just going to keep lying and lying and lying. And I was getting very frustrated about that they were lying. Like, why are they lying? Why are they sabotaging themselves? Why are they literally kind of ending their own lives? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they setting themselves up for failure? You should know that you shouldn't lie about or to a truth teller. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to prove anything. All I have to do is just tell the truth. I'm a truth teller. I look like a truth teller. You look like a liar. This isn't going to work out well for you. But like, empathy, that's all they know. That's all they can do. If they knew better, they would act better. Same thing with us. If we knew better, we would act better. So all I can do is just know better. And now I know liars are not liars by choice. No one is anybody by choice. I'm not a truth teller by choice. They're not liars by choice. We're not anything by choice. Things of this life is literally a dice roll. You know what I'm saying? It's literally a game of 21. You know what I'm saying? I got 21. I lucked out. I really did. I can't sit up here and say I ate this food and I took this regimen and I did it. Nope, I lucked out. I got really good genetics. I have very, very beautiful parents. Very, very beautiful relatives. I've come from a lot of very important people in history. You know what I'm saying? You look at all the very important black people in black history. I'm probably related to them in some way, shape, or form. And I didn't earn that. I lucked out. And some people didn't. And all I can do is take what I have and do the best I can with it. Pay it forward and be like, hey, I got a lot. I know I got a lot. I know because of that, you guys know I got a lot. I can't really expect you to give me more, and I have so much. So, as long as you don't put things in my way, we're cool. And you know, I appreciate the people who aren't gonna lie to me and bullshit me and tell me that I'm not who I am. Because I've known who I am as a very young age. But that's what liars do, unfortunately. They have no choice but to lie and to tell me I'm not who I am and tell me that I'm this and I'm that and that and the third. So the moral of the story is, have empathy for these people. Even the people that you don't like Trump and Elon and your boss and your parents and all these people who have been lying to you, deceiving you, gaslighting you. Sure, don't hang on to it, but have that anger, let it out, understand that it makes you who you are, and it's very validating. But they have to play their role, and their role is to show you who not to be, and their role is to show you the version of you that you looked out by not being. You know what I'm saying? I'm very lucky to be a truth teller. Very, very lucky. Very fortunate to be a truth teller. So I could have been a liar. I really could have. So there needs to be liars, yin and yang, good and bad. I don't believe in bad in the traditional sense, but it's just yin and yang, There's multiple sides to us, and we're all just mirrors to each other. So I appreciate them, even though they make our lives harder. We make their lives harder by telling the truth. So who am I to throw rocks at them and be like, hey, you're wrong? If they're wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, they're right. So at the end of the day, this is war. And, I love war. I said in my last video, that's what I wake up every single day to do, is to wage war. That's what I'm going to continue to do. But I'm going to be kind about it. I'm going to try to be kind about it as well. So I learned from a book series I read growing up that you can go to war with people. You don't got to kill them. You do not have to kill them. You have to win. You definitely have to win. No one has to die. That is very true. No one has to die. You can talk your way through it. At the end of the day, people aren't as bad as you think they are. They might not be as good as you think they are either, but they're not as bad as you think they are. A lot of people are children stuck in adults' bodies, stuck in their adolescence. You're gonna have to empathize with those people because they don't know any better. They're not as tough as they think they are. They aren't as big as they think they are. They're just peacocking. They're just liars. They're just lying to themselves. And people who lie to themselves, man, they are their worst enemies. So empathize with them and be like, I see you. I see you. I don't feel sorry for you, but I see you. I hope nothing for the best for you. That's all I got. Don't let them win. You gotta kill anybody. Don't let them win. I'll catch y'all later.